So, how do you map out a sequence like that? Let's do the train. I mean, you and a large group of people, they have to get what you need when they shoot it, and you have to know what the different needs are. I mean, that kind of thing is incredibly elaborate. Can you kind of walk us through it a little?
Yeah, let me say I came onto the show later on and wasn't involved in that. That had all pretty much been worked out by JJ and the ILM folks on it. And it was, you do what you can. You sort of, it starts out with the writers writing it, and then we did animatics and videomatics for it in CG to kind of like give an idea what it would be like. But then directors tend to get on the set and they get creative, and that's some of the most important part, I think, of filmmaking is you don't necessarily lock in to what you've talked about. You got to be careful you don't go crazy and over budget and all, and you can always fall back on what the computer people have figured out in their nice office like I'm in right now. But you get on location at 3 o'clock in the morning and you've got everybody out there working, and you look at a certain direction and you see something, you want to take advantage of it. Then it wouldn't necessarily have been seen at all when you were designing the sequence on a computer. So being open to those moments, I think, is really, really important. And then we try to give that feeling of spontaneity when we put the scenes together, also the shots. And much of the train sequence was there, there's no backgrounds that were shot for it. It's all completely
Really?
artificial. And we did our best to make it look like it was shot by a real camera crew. We have sort of like movie lights there, and we're doing a thing that's done a lot where you sort of light the haze of the sky up in the background with blue light, and then you silhouette things in front of it. So there's a lot of mystery. So things aren't overlit, and it's got a sense, and everything has a sense of weight. Like the cars are very darkly lit, so they feel real heavy when they're flying through the air. Stuff like that. There's a lot of really interesting ways that you can, that same sequence could have been done by 5 different people at 5 different companies that would look completely different. Everybody would have done it differently because everyone has their own style, and what they like and don't like. So there's a lot of creativity in it.
Well, Ben Burt also and the sound team really contributed a lot because part of what gives you the weight, like in that
Right.
wonderful moment where the kid is watching the whatever it is pounding its way out of the train and not knowing what could possibly make that door fly off and hit right in front of him with that extraordinary weight. That's part of the game is giving bulk and mass, right, to
Yeah.
these things.
Right. Right. Every step of the way, and maybe even exaggerate it. So you want to feel it more. So, and it's more powerful. Yeah. And you start with reality. You want to always sort of figure out what it would be if you really did this and how it would look, and then you can sort of exaggerate a little bit here, but you want to sort of keep it into a level where it doesn't look like you're looking at a computer generated image or a model or anything like that. It wants to look real.
You worked on Twister too? Yeah?
I was involved in the initial test that actually greenlit the movie.
That's
We wanted
right.
to see if we
That's
could do
right.
it. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then other people took it over. But yeah, you're the big boss. So so was there a I was thinking of all this stuff flying through the air. There's more of that than I've ever seen before. Incredible, cars and big mass objects just flying through the air, which is hard to make look real, right?
Yeah, it's hard, and it's something that I think comes from people seeing more, footage from tornadoes or crashes that really happen that are caught, by people with cell phones, movies and stuff like that. There's a lot of power anytime anything gets up to a certain speed and then gets set off course and goes flying. We kind of know now how frightening that is to look at, and what it really sort of looks like. So it adds more danger to it also, and it's something you can't do very well in miniatures, and it's really even hard to do in computer graphics to get the little model. Say it's a piece of wooden frame or scaffolding or box that's supposed to break apart or something. Get that to really look right is not necessarily easy, but it adds so much to the shot when you get it. And I do something I call sort of peekaboo, which is to try to keep things not as clear cut and clearly visible as you might think. And one way to do that is to put in more visceral danger, which is boxes flying, dust flying, fire flying, whatever it is, to sort of obscure a little bit what you're looking at, not to cover it up because it's not what we're seeing, because I make sure you see the part you're supposed to see, but just to add the sort of feeling that things are happening all around you. It's happening behind you, it's happening to your left, to your right, above you, look out. You're just like looking through a little peek hole there, but be careful because something could come in from any side. And a way to do that is just to have garbage and stuff flying from all over the place.
So what was the most?
We should have had literal garbage. I didn't think
Well, you also had a monster to work with, and you do play a bit of peekaboo with that too.
right, yeah.
You don't
Right.
give us too much of a glimpse.
Right. That was something that JJ wanted to keep. It was really obscure and distant, and leave it up to your imagination, like those movies did in those days. You
But
know.
then you deliver. You let us see the
Yeah.
guy
Finally, when it's
finally.
important that there's a relationship between the creature and the kid, that's when we really sort of showed him, and did a lot of like kind of close-ups, and there was a connection there that was very important to the story.
At the very end.
Yeah.
There's a bit of King Kong in this too.
I guess at times, yeah, there is. There's a little bit climbing, not quite the Empire State Building, but something else. Yeah. Right.
Quite. So, what was the biggest challenge? The most, if you were to say that, what was the breakthrough here? Maybe there's a technological breakthrough of some kind, something new that we haven't seen before.
There's always little things. There's getting dynamics to look more realistic. There's the getting stuff to work faster, to keeping the budget, getting the lighting to be more sort of accurate and real like that. But I'm a lover of sort of the creation and the art, not so much the tool set. And what I really like was being able to make a movie that's essentially from that period, that has the look and feel of that period. And I don't know if you'd call that a breakthrough, but it's something that I think has kind of been forgotten. And I think it's still really, really valuable. But it does mean the work is harder because the shots last longer. And there is has to be kind of a spirit and a reality to it. And also things aren't as necessarily as dark as a lot of movies are now. We have something bright daylight and sort of like right there.
That's true.
But another thing, a thing about this show though, which is similar to the show I'd done a few years ago, War of the Worlds, was it was a very short schedule, and that seems to be something which is why it came on. It's something that is happening more and more to films now. Is that the post production time is getting shorter and shorter, and it's getting harder and harder to keep the quality up, and to do it at the cost and everything, and make the deadline. And have it look any good. You can do that, but when you get these sequences back that just look unfortunate and sort of sad, I feel so sorry for everybody who's worked on those shots, because he puts so much time into it. We have times like that too. Everybody's got it now. It's a difficult time.
Actually, ILM is in a relatively favorable position, sort of dominant in the market. But what is your concern about the state of all the little visual effects houses and the problems that they're having? And the studios seem to be relatively, I don't know what the word is, tough about making these deals and not making it easy.
Yeah, it's just really a unfortunate time for people who are trying to do the effects, and maybe a fortunate time for the people who want to make their movies cheaper. If you can find people that'll work for nothing, then great. And just hope that it doesn't hurt the quality of the movie. And if it does, unfortunately the studios can take advantage even at the end and find people who will fix the bad shots up. I just I'm worried the quality is just going to keep going down and the public won't care. But we're all, including the studios, we're all at the expense of the public. They decide what we do and what we're not going to do, and how much we can spend to make movies. It's not like anybody has got the control over it. We all need to work together and work within the budgets that the public is willing to return to the investors. And it's just getting harder and harder. I think part of it is there's so much more opportunity now, of course, for people to do things other than see movies and even music and games. There's so many more things going on now than there were before.
No question, no question. And what's your take on how 3D is shaking out? I mean, we all admire what Cameron did on Avatar, but it's sort of hard to meet that standard, and it looks like audiences are rebelling a little bit.
Yeah, I don't know. I wish that the ticket prices were not as high as they are for 3D. When it
Yeah.
started out, they were like $2 more, which I think was fine, and now it's just going up and up. I am a big fan of 3D if it's done right. I think there's a new way of making these movies that is even different than what anyone's done before, that will be a lot more immersive in the story, you know, and it has to do with less cutting, little wider angle lenses, and really play it like it's in the theater instead of on the screen, and let scenes sort of evolve like they kind of do in a play,
Because people like to roam
dimensionally.
around in the space with their
Yeah, yeah,
eyes, right?
yeah. Let the actors roam away and forward in that space, and so that you really fool yourself into actually being in that setting, not watching a movie anymore, but you're in that setting, and then write your story around that, and direct it around that, and stage it around that. And I don't think that that's really happened yet, but I hope it does happen. That someone will do a film like that, and that people will really like it. But I'm a fan of 3D. I hope it's here to stay.
Well, thank you, sir. It was always
Sure.
a pleasure to talk to you. And do you know what you're going to be working on next?
Oh, I've been working on a book on observation and imagination, and it's kind of for people doing computer graphic work, and I'm going back to getting that done. So anyway, that's my big deal. And
That I look
for the
forward
rest
to
of
reading.
yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you.
Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
Bye bye.
Bye-bye. Bye.